Hey everybody, Berg Ryman, Ryan, back here in the basement, and we are back talking Wilson Challenge. And with Wilson Challenge, video number 2, you know what that means. We are talking Fairway Woods. That's right, it's my favorite club in the bag, Fairway Wood time for the Wilson Challenge. First, I want to thank Wilson for hooking us up throughout this whole thing. Thank everybody involved. Really fun times. But let's talk the Dynapower Max Fairway Woods. I went with the Dynapower Max, not the Dynapower Carbon. We went with the Max in a 3 wood at 15 degrees and a 7 wood at 21 degrees. The 3 wood with the KBS TD in 60 gram stiff. The 7 wood in the TD in 70 gram stiff. The Max head is the more forgiving head, the higher launching head, the easier to hit head of the two compared to the Carbon. A little bit lower launch, lower spin, more of a distance style fairway wood. In the advertising, Wilson says the old Dynapower, which everyone knows scored really well in My Golf Spy fairway wood testing, would have more in common with the Carbon than the Max. But I'm going to tell you guys, the Maxes are not anything to sneeze at. They are fantastic fairway woods. The 3 wood and I got very familiar throughout both this test and really the end of this at Myrtle Beach. For those of you that didn't watch the driver video, the screw for the adapter in the Dynapower Max driver was stripped. So I hit 3 wood off of pretty much every tee at Myrtle Beach. Did it make the scoring harder? Of course it did. Did I care? Not really. I mean, the highlight of my trip was watching Jamie go driver on a par 5, and I went 3 wood, and I was inside of him. So it was only by a couple yards, but we did it. So if that doesn't tell you the power that these Max fairway woods have, I don't know what's going to do it for you. They launch incredibly easy. The 7 wood especially. I mean, look, real talk. If you aren't considering a 7 wood, or if you are kind of a slower swing player, and by that I mean I count myself in that, and I'm at like 80 miles an hour in the iron in 95 to 100 miles an hour with driver. But the 7 wood is such a weapon. And I think that's going to be something you're going to see commonly throughout a lot of these reviews, is that a lot of us that experienced 7 irons or 7 woods, 7 woods with the higher loft and just the way that the ball launches off of them while still giving you great distance. Man, 7 wood is where it is at going forward. In fact, I am potentially looking at adding maybe a little cheeky 9 wood to the bag going forward due to my experience here. Distance-wise, again, a really solid fairway wood. Does it go as far as the Carbon? No, and I don't think that Wilson would tell you that the Max goes as far as the Carbon. But for someone like me that's a little bit lower launch and needs that assistance with help and spin, it does really help out with that. Like I said, if you get the right fit, and again, I think everyone would agree that getting fit is obviously chief among figuring out what of these clubs is going to work for you. The consistency of the Max when it comes to launch, you give up maybe a touch of distance. Like I said in the driver, it was probably about 5 to 7 yards from driver. Fairway wood, it's probably closer to 3 to 5, maybe 7 on the higher end. But you're not going to get me to say a bad thing about these fairway woods. They are fantastic. They are incredibly easy to hit. The flight of them, right? And sometimes with fairway woods, I find, right, with 3 wood, that you can get kind of that riser flight, right? Where it starts low and then the spin kind of carries it up and it just knocks it down. This 3-wood just launches. And it just launches and it hits that window right the way you want it to and just stays there. Again, it is a little bit shorter, but you're giving up that modicum of distance to really be more accurate and have more consistent launch. And for a lot of us that are looking at fairway woods as alternatives in the fairway and out of the rough, that's a trade I make 10 times out of 10, right? If you are chasing more of that distance 3-wood, good news, the carbon exists for you, right? For me, it wasn't what I was looking for in the bag, although I do sometimes look at fairway woods as more of a how far can I get it up there. But with these, I was looking for how consistent can we be. And the max 3-wood is super consistent. The max 7-wood, like people say 7 woods are cheat codes. This thing's a cheat code. It's super straight. It's super easy to hit. And from anywhere from about, for me, 190 to 200-ish, right where I need it, right? Does exactly what I want it to do. So, are they going in the bag? One of them is. The 7-wood is making the bag going forward. That should come as no surprise. I mean, I'm pulling the 4-iron out of my current set to make room for the 7-wood. And like I said, 9-wood, Wilson, if you're out there, if you want to make a 9-wood, that'd be great. I'd love to get my hands on it. But the 3-wood is so close to making the bag, but the 3-wood that I had before, the stealth 3-wood that I had, that people who know me know it is my favorite club in my bag. It was an uphill battle for the max from the jump, right? When you have a favorite club, it's very hard to find that to replace. And to be honest, I do think I'm probably going to hold on to the max as a backup in case anything goes wrong with my 3-wood that I currently have. Like if it breaks or if something happens or if I have to send it back to TaylorMade and I need a second 3-wood, this max would be the perfect kind of replacement for it. It does everything I need it to do. It's just that the stealth and I mean, we've been through a lot, so it's very hard for me to replace it unless I see something so much better. And while I do think that this max is potentially on the level of the stealth, it just doesn't get to past that level. But that's not to say that it might not for you. I think it's a fantastic club, and as someone that doesn't hold on to backup clubs just because I don't like the nature of potentially switching or having that idea in my head, I am very much considering holding on to this 3-wood as the backup fairway wood for this bag because it is so good. But I can tell you right now, that 7-wood's going straight in the bag, and that 7-wood is going to be really, really hard to find a way out. I think Wilson has done a fantastic job with fairway woods recently. I think the Dynapower Max is a continuation of that. And I think, again, they should be near or at the top of the list for people that are looking for woods that are very easy to hit, launch in an expected and consistent way, and are easy to get the maximum distance and the maximum stopping power out of a fairway wood that everyone's looking for. All right, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one.